The smell of garlic butter and grilled steak filled the air. Soft music, golden lights, laughter from rich people in expensive clothes. And in the middle of all this, a maid with tired eyes and cracked hands. Her name was Emma. Emma, move faster. Table 4 is waiting. The manager Michael shouted from the bar. Emma held a tray full of plates. Her arms burned. Her back ached. But she only said, "Yes, sir," and kept walking. No one looked at her face. They looked at her uniform. To them, she was just the maid. As she passed the big glass window, something caught her eye. A boy, maybe 10, sitting alone, in a wheelchair. His legs were still. His fingers were curled around the armrest. He stared outside at the city lights like he wanted to be out there, running, but could only watch. Emma slowed down. Why is he sitting alone? Where are his parents? She wondered. Before she could think more, someone brushed past her. A rich woman in diamonds, Evelyn, talking loudly on her phone. Behind her, 2 kids. Expensive sneakers. Attitude in their eyes. "Mom, look," one of them whispered, pointing at the boy. "That wheelchair kid is here again." They giggled. Emma's stomach twisted. She watched them with the corner of her eye as she served another table. Then she saw it. The boy in sneakers walked behind the wheelchair and grabbed the handles. "Let's go for a ride," he laughed, pushing it forward. The boy in the chair, Robert, tensed up. "Stop," he whispered. "Please. I don't like this." But the rich kid laughed louder. "Relax. It's just fun." No one stopped him. Not the waiters. Not Evelyn. Not the manager. Only Emma saw the fear in Robert's eyes. In her hands, heavy plates. At her back, Michael's warning from last week. "If you break one more plate, you're done. There are 100 girls waiting for this job." In front of her, a trembling boy in a wheelchair, being pushed toward the stairs. The front wheels rolled closer and closer. In that moment, everything went quiet in her head. If I protect him, I might lose my job. If I do nothing, I might lose myself. Emma took a breath. And then she did something crazy. She dropped the tray. Plates exploded on the floor. Glass shattered. Food went everywhere. The whole restaurant turned to look. Emma ran. Her shoes slipped on the sauce. Her heart hammered in her chest. She grabbed the wheelchair just as the front wheels reached the edge of the stairs. Robert gasped. Tears filled his eyes. For a second, nobody moved. Then the shouting began. "Are you insane?" Michael screamed. "You're fired." Everyone stared at Emma, like she was garbage. She looked down at Robert, still shaking under her hands. What Emma didn't know, what nobody in that room knew, was that the boy she just saved was the only son of the billionaire who owned the restaurant, a man named John Hayes, and he had just walked in. He saw the broken plates. He saw the maid shaking. He saw his son on the edge of the stairs. Now tell me, if you were that maid, would you still have dropped the tray? Stay with me, because this one choice will change a poor girl's life and crack open a billionaire's heart. Emma lived between 2 worlds. In the restaurant, everything shined. Clean glasses, marble floors, soft lighting, fake smiles. At home, the walls were peeling. The fan was slow. The air smelled like medicine. Every night after work, she went straight to the hospital. Her father lay there, pale and thin, tubes running into his arm. A truck accident had broken his leg and damaged his spine. "Hey, Dad," she whispered, pulling up a chair. "It's me." His eyes opened slowly. "Emma, how was work?" She smiled, even when it hurt. "Tiring. But I survived. Like always." Her mother folded clothes in the corner, needles and threads in a small bag. She worked as a seamstress. Long hours. Little money. Did the manager shout again? Her mother asked. Emma hesitated. When doesn't he? She joked softly. But inside, she replayed every insult. You people. Useless. Easily replaceable. On the way back, Emma walked past the restaurant's glowing sign. It looked rich. Powerful. She felt small. Next morning, she put on her cleanest uniform. Tied her hair. Looked in the mirror. Smile, Emma, she told herself. Even if no one sees it. At work, Sophia, an older maid, handed Emma a stack of napkins. You okay, sweetheart? Sophia asked. Emma nodded. Just tired. Sophia gave her a knowing look. I heard the hospital called yesterday. Yeah, Emma said softly. Bill is going up again. Sophia sighed. This place could pay every bill you have with one night's profit. But they won't. To them, we're just hands, not humans. Emma forced a small smile. At least I have a job. Sophia patted her arm. Don't let them crush your heart trying to feed your stomach, That evening, Emma noticed Robert again. Same window seat. Same lonely dessert. Same faraway eyes. Something in him looked like her father after the accident. She took a deep breath and went to his table. Hi, she said softly. You came again. He glanced up. Yeah, my dad owns this place. They like keeping me in the corner where no one trips over my wheelchair, he said with a bitter smile. Emma's eyes widened. Owner's son? But she pretended she didn't know. Well, she replied, this is my favorite corner. Best view. All the lights look like stars. He looked out the window. They look free, he whispered. There was something about the way he said it. Free. Like he wasn't. Emma wanted to ask more. But then Michael's voice boomed. Emma, stop chatting and work. You're not here to make friends with customers. She flinched. Yes, sir, she said, stepping back. As she walked away, she felt Robert's eyes still on her. She didn't know that this quiet boy, and her broken world at home, were about to collide in a way she never expected. What do you think Emma sees more in Robert, his wheelchair, or his loneliness? The restaurant was fully booked that day. Clinking glasses. High heels on marble. Perfume and money in the air. Emma moved from table to table, refilling water, clearing plates, forcing smiles. At table 3, Evelyn sat like a queen with her 2 kids. Do you have sparkling water? She asked without looking at Emma. Yes, ma'am, Emma replied. The son kicked Emma's shoe under the table on purpose. She almost dropped the bottle. Watch where you stand, he said, even though he'd moved his foot. Evelyn laughed lightly. Kids will be kids. Emma said nothing. She couldn't afford to. When she turned, she heard Evelyn's voice behind her, low but sharp. These poor staff girls, Evelyn muttered to her friend. No grace. No education. That's why they stay where they are. Emma's face burned. But she kept walking. Near the window, Robert sat alone again. No one at his table. Just him and his wheelchair. Emma took a clean napkin and a glass of water. Here, she said softly. It's a hot day. You look tired. He stared at her, surprised again. Why do you keep talking to me? He asked. She smiled gently. Because you look like you need someone to. He hesitated, then said, People talk around me. Not to me. They think if they don't look at the wheelchair, they can pretend I'm not there. Emma nodded slowly. My father had an accident, she said. People used to talk like that around him too. Does he walk? Robert asked. She shook her head. Not really. Not like before. But, he still laughs. So we still fight for him. Robert's eyes softened. You're lucky, he said quietly. At least you're with him. My dad is always in meetings. And when he's not, I think he avoids looking at me. Emma swallowed. She wanted to say something to comfort him, but words felt small. Then a loud voice cut through the moment. "Emma!" Michael snapped. "Stop standing there like a statue. Move." She stepped away. As she did, she saw Evelyn's son watching Robert with a cruel little smile. "You know that look, right? The, I want to cause trouble, look?" Emma felt a shiver in her chest. Something bad was coming. She just didn't know how fast. It happened in less than a minute. Emma was carrying a tray with 2 hot plates and 2 glasses. Her arms shook a little from the weight. Michael had just hissed in her ear, "One more mistake and you're gone, do you understand?" "Yes, sir," she whispered. She started walking toward table 4. Then she heard a giggle. She turned her head slightly. Evelyn's son was now behind Robert's wheelchair, his hands on the handles. His sister stood nearby, filming on her phone. "Let's see if this thing can go fast," the boy said. Robert's body stiffened. "Stop," he whispered. "Please. I don't like this." The boy ignored him. He pushed the chair forward. Robert's wheels rolled closer to the stairs. Emma's blood went cold. "Kids, please don't play with the wheelchair," she called. Her voice was polite but urgent. "It's dangerous." Evelyn barely glanced over. "They're just playing." "Do your work, Maid," she said. Emma looked at Michael. He was busy smiling fake at some rich guest. No one saw what she saw. The tray grew heavier in her hands. Her heart pounded. "If I shout and run, Michael will fire me. If I do nothing, something worse could happen." The boy pushed harder. The front wheels reached the very edge of the stairs. Time slowed. Emma didn't think anymore. She let go of the tray. Crash. Plates shattered on the floor. Glass exploded. Food splattered everywhere. People gasped. The music seemed to die. Emma ran. Her shoes slid on the sauce, but she kept going. She grabbed the wheelchair handles and yanked it back from the edge. Robert's breath came in sharp, scared gasps. His eyes were wide with terror. For a second, there was silence. Total silence. Emma's heart pounded so loud she could hear it in her ears. Then reality hit. "What did you do?" Michael roared, storming toward her. "Have you gone mad?" Emma was still holding the wheelchair. "He was going to fall," she said, shaking. "I saw. He was fine." Evelyn snapped, standing up. "My children were just playing. You made a drama." Her son hid behind her, smirking. Michael pointed at the broken plates. "Do you know how much that costs? You people never think." "You're fired, Emma. Get out." There it was. The words she had feared since day one. Fired. In front of everyone. Robert finally found his voice. "It wasn't her fault," he whispered. "They pushed me. She saved me." Michael glared at him. "Stay out of this. You're a child." Emma's chest tightened. She thought of her father. The bills. Her mother's tired hands. But when she looked at Robert's watery eyes, she knew she couldn't regret what she did. "If saving him is wrong," she said softly, "then maybe I don't deserve to work here." The whole restaurant stared. Security started walking toward her. Then a new voice entered the room. Deep. Calm. Dangerous. "Security," it said. "Don't lay a finger on her." Everyone turned toward the entrance. A tall man in a dark suit stood there. Sharp eyes. Strong jaw. Silent anger. Sophia whispered, "That's him. John Hayes. The owner." Emma felt the floor disappear under her feet. She had just been fired for saving the billionaire's son. "What do you think? Will power stand with truth, or protect money?" John Hayes walked through the broken glass like it was nothing. His eyes went from the floor, to the stairs, to the wheelchair, and finally to Emma's shaking hands. "Who fired her?" he asked. Michael straightened his tie. "I did, sir." She caused this mess, broke plates, disturbed guests. Very unprofessional. Did she push my son toward the stairs? John asked. Michael froze. And no, sir. Did she pull him away from the stairs? John asked again. Michael swallowed. Yes, but... John's eyes hardened. Then explain to me why the only person who protected my child is the one you're throwing out. The room went quiet. Evelyn tried to step in. John, please, she said with a fake little laugh. You know how staff is. Over-dramatic. My kids were just playing. No real danger. John turned his gaze on her. Your children pushed my son toward the stairs while he was begging them to stop. That's not playing. That's bullying. Her face changed. Are you calling my children bullies? She snapped. I'm calling what I saw, John replied coldly. He looked at Robert. Son, he said quietly. Tell me the truth. Were you scared? Robert's voice shook. Yes, he whispered. I thought I was going to fall. She saved me. John let that sink in. He turned to Michael. You're suspended, he said. We'll review the camera footage and your behavior. Sir, please, Michael started. John cut him off with just a look. Leave, he said. Michael walked away, red and shaking. Evelyn grabbed her bag. If this is how you treat paying customers, she snapped, I will never come back here. And I'll tell my friends. You are banned from every branch of my restaurant, John answered calmly. We don't serve people who step on others to feel tall. Gasps. Whispering. Evelyn stormed out with her kids. Now the room felt different. Heavy. Waiting. Everyone, back to your meals, John said. Show is over. He turned to Emma and Robert. You, he said to them, come with me. In his office upstairs, everything was quiet. Bookshelves. City view. Family photos on the wall. One showed a young Robert running on a beach, before the wheelchair. Emma stood near the door, hands twisted together. John sat behind his desk. Robert's wheelchair was beside him. All right, John said. Someone tell me what really happened. Michael wasn't there to twist it now. Just truth. Robert spoke first. They pushed me, he said. I told them to stop. They didn't. Emma saw and tried to stop them. No one else listened. She dropped everything to help me. John listened, jaw tight. He looked at Emma. Did you drop the tray on purpose? She shook her head quickly. No, sir. I just ran. The plates slipped. I knew I might lose my job, but I couldn't let him fall. My father is in the hospital. I know what that life looks like. Her voice cracked. John was quiet for a long moment. He looked at his son. Why didn't you tell me people treat you like this? He asked softly. Robert's eyes filled with tears. You're always busy, he whispered. And when you're here, you look at my chair before you look at me. Those words hit John like a punch. His shoulders dropped. Emma watched the billionaire's face change. For a second, he didn't look powerful. He looked guilty. He turned back to her. You risked your job for my son, John said. I owe you more than just an apology. He took a breath. What if, he continued, I asked you to work for me, but not as a maid? Now what would you do if a billionaire suddenly said that to you? Emma blinked. Sir, I don't understand, she said. I'm just staff. I don't know anything fancy. John leaned forward. You know how to stand up when everyone else stays silent, he said. You know how to see my son as a person, not just a wheelchair. That's rare. He looked at Robert. Would you like her to stay, not as a maid, but as your helper? Your support. Robert didn't even take a second. Yes, he said. Please. Emma's heart pounded. But, my father, the hospital, the salary, she started. John nodded. "We'll pay you well," he said. "You'll get training from a therapist. And," he hesitated, then added, "I want to help with your father's bills. Not as charity. As payment for saving my son." Tears filled Emma's eyes. "Why?" she whispered. "Rich people don't usually care about girls like me." John looked out the window for a moment. "When Robert's accident happened," he said quietly, "I threw myself into work. It was easier to sign papers than to look at my son in a wheelchair. I thought if I made more money, it would fix everything. But I was wrong." He turned back to her. "Today, in front of everyone, a girl with almost nothing risked everything to protect him. You did what I should have done. You reminded me, money without heart is nothing." Emma covered her mouth, trying not to cry. Robert smiled at her, small but real. "I don't want another nurse who pities me," he said. "I want someone who talks to me like I'm just Robert." Emma wiped her tears and nodded. "Okay," she said. "I'll try. I'll help. But I'll also annoy you," she added, trying to smile at Robert. "I don't go easy on my patients." He laughed for the first time in a long time. Things changed after that. In the restaurant, new signs went up. "No bullying. No disrespect. Staff are human. If you insult our workers, don't come back." Sophia hugged Emma one day. "Look at you," she said, eyes wet. "You shook the whole system, girl." Emma laughed through her tears. "I just dropped some plates." "At the right time," Sophia replied. "Some people drop plates, you dropped truth." Salaries slowly improved. Training sessions started. Staff learned how to treat disabled guests with respect. More importantly, rich customers learned this was not a place to step on the poor. At home, Emma's father got better treatments. Her mom smiled more. For the first time, the future didn't feel like a dark tunnel. Every morning now, Emma went to the Hayes mansion, not the back door of the restaurant. She helped Robert with exercises, joined his therapy sessions, talked to him when he felt useless, teased him when he got too serious. Sometimes they fought over small things. Sometimes they laughed until their stomachs hurt. And slowly, Robert started to believe he was more than his chair. One evening, John joined them in the garden. He pushed the wheelchair himself. "I missed years," he said quietly. "I can't get them back. But I can change the ones ahead." He looked at Emma. "Thank you," he said. "Not just for saving my son, but for saving me from being the kind of rich man who forgets he's human." Emma smiled. "Just promise me one thing, sir," she said. "Never let anyone talk to your staff the way they used to talk to me." John nodded firmly. Never again. The restaurant lights still shined at night. But now, behind that shine, there was something real. A poor maid's courage. A broken boy's slow healing. And a billionaire learning that respect is worth more than money. All because, one day, a maid dropped everything to save a boy no one else was watching. Now it's your turn. Have you ever seen someone being bullied or disrespected just because they were poor, disabled, or less important? Backhand index pointing right. Did you speak up? Backhand index pointing right, or did you stay quiet and regret it later? Tell your story in the comments. Maybe your words will give someone courage to stand up next time. Broken heart sparkles.